Don't be a long video. What is up, ladies and gents? Today I'm going to be bringing you the best ultimate guide for Grow A Garden. This is going to be 50 tips that obviously, even as a beginner or a pro player, you need to be taking advantage of. As you see, I have over 129 billion. If I were to claim my garden and sell, I'd probably gain another 50 billion if we're gonna be honest. This is the best strategies, methods to go about this game, core mechanics you need to be taking advantage of, and glitches that are going to completely break the game when it comes to basic progression throughout the game. So though, once again, make sure you stay towards the end. We're gonna have information in regards to a giveaway, and if I'm feeling like a good person, I probably won't put it that late into the video. And additionally, we're also, close to 150k subs. Starting off with the very first trick, I'm gonna kick it off with the beginner level. So starting off with the beginner basic one. So we're gonna start off with the basic seeds and stuff you should be taking advantage of, which is firstly gonna be probably the orange tulip in my opinion. So this is going to be the second. So the first carrot is obviously the first one that's like the one-time harvestable, but the orange tulip is going to be the very first one that isn't, the default carrot. Now, if you're wondering what I mean by the one-time harvest, is for most crops you can only harvest it once it grows or stems off of it. So what you can have is something like, if you plant a flower and water said flower, you're only going to be able to claim that flower and then it's gone. Like, you can no longer claim from that. So this is going to be one of the best starters that you can get, because this is going to pretty much anytime you do, like as clearly stated, that whenever you claim from it, it's going to pick itself up. And obviously these ones are going to have higher sell value than the base of the other one. So I'm going to quickly make an example real fast. So I just used let me get an orange tulip. I know for a fact, yeah, I have almost 1,500 of these. Place that down, water it. This is a basic one. Now I'm going to get what's another one around it? It's probably going to be so I'm gonna plant a tomato, water this. And this one is actually really big. I think it's called like a stem plant or a leafy plant. What that pretty much means is it grows crops off from itself rather than growing additional crop. So pretty much what this one's going to do is it's going to grow tomatoes on it off of these leaves, and then you can claim those tomatoes, sell those, but those can also get mutations and other things. And I'm just going to let this grow, and pretty much what we're going to do is, once this obviously does produce a tomato, this one is going to indeed have a lower sell value. So as you might see, orange tulip in shop, and then you see the tomato seed costs more and is above it. You get value out of the fact that the crop is going to regrow itself and come back rather than just get planted once and die. Now, next is tip 2. So corn is like low-key a trash. So you'd assume that this thing would have a better sell value. No problem. I do have a ton of these though. I'll show you later the tips I would recommend for farming seeds, because as you see right here, I have a lot of every seed. So we have, for example, if I have my corn seeds, I have 150 of these, right, to say the least, for the price. Now, I would not recommend, just avoid corn in general if you can. Strawberries are these are so a multi-harvest crop once again, and these ones are going to cost 80 shekel at a base price. So these are going to be one of the beginner ones. And so this one's also additionally going to have, I would say, pretty decent value when it comes to like early start. I'm going to just delete the plant after that. So if I go over to sell, now this is the comparison I was going to make. We have Le Tomato right here, put that in my inventory. And then we have that tulip from earlier, which is going to be 0.7 kg. We're going to see the value of a tomato, which this one value is going to sell for 53. This orange tulip, mind you, once again, was lower. This orange tulip is going to sell for 15. One-time crops are going to sell for a lot more initially, but obviously in the long run are usually less reliable because you can't continuously farm them. These ones are going to be way harder to farm because those, if you didn't know, mushrooms are the highest one-time crops, and once again, they're not really that good. Number 4 is going to be check the seed shop. So obviously you can use what's called a stock notifier if you don't want to have to check this every time, but what stock notifiers, pretty much their job is it's going to obviously notify you about the stock. So what we're going to do, you check seeds. The seeds are going to pretty much update every so often and with whatever, right? So what's going to happen is these are going to refresh. As you see, bamboo's in stock. Bamboo's also another good one-time crop for starters. I'd recommend getting bamboo the second you see it. And then what we're going to do is go back to your own, right? But if you are wanting to join my Discord server, I have a really good stock notifier that's pretty accurate. It's more of just, it's pretty fast too. There was like a whole outage with it earlier. It's not my bot, but it does work pretty well. We have the stock notifier, egg notifier, and a weather event notifier. If you do want to get the thing to work, pretty much you're going to join the server, and then you're going to verify your account, and then you're going to come down to get your roles. You just select, so I want to get notified when coconuts are in shop, so I'm going to click coconut, and then I'm going to get that roll, and then every time a coconut's in stock, I'm going to get notified that it's in stock. This is probably one of the most helpful tools ever when it comes to this game. Almost as helpful as the harvesting tool, which we'll go over in a second. But once again, this is still so helpful. I would recommend genuinely joining the Discord server. That reason alone makes it kind of worth it. Next is going to be stacking small plants. So don't waste crop space and garden space, especially if you can't afford the garden expansion. Do not waste money and valuable space when it comes to planting these. Some plant like the grape is a really good example of this because this one has a very, very small hitbox because once again, it's these tiny little stems. And so far I have like almost 20 grapes and they're all confined, and the other one was a word, all into this one section. So the other one is right here. One's grown a good bit for only being 8%. Let me speed up watering this real fast. Might as well slap on some sprinklers, why those are broken, why you need to take advantage of sprinklers and all that. But the next one is going to be use trowels. So trowels are pretty much the base, one of the first items you'll really ever get. So there's obviously the shovel. The shovel deletes crops. The trowel allows you to move crops. So if you don't like where you place one or anything, use a trowel. The trowel is going to allow you to just grab a crop, right, and yoink it wherever the crap you want it. So like if I want to put it there, I can rotate it to re-angle it to face a direction. And that's pretty much how the trowel is going to work. I would recommend using this for organizing your base. And especially once you get later into the game, there's like too much to handle. Like I cannot manage all these moon melons or blood bananas, but I do need them when it comes to basically making any money. So I have to use them. But earlier in, like if you get your first beanstalk or something and you don't like where you placed it, you can move it anytime you want. That is probably one of the like buyable game progression is crops and like plot spaces. So you can, if you didn't know, this was more of a recent update, but you can eventually upgrade your plots, have more of them. And that alone is a really nice mechanic. So as you see, I was able to just confine all of my beanstalks. So that's, as I was saying before, this really ties into the trowel managed plot space. And like the next one, you do want to be smart about where you place it, or like the starting guide says, or tutorial. So only do that if that makes sense. And now the next one is going to be manage your plot space and then sell crops smart. I'll go over in a second why weather events like this are important. But once again, though, you do want to sell crops. So obviously, carrots, obviously you want to sell these, and eventually like just start deleting and clearing out crops. Once you're later in the game, carrots are pretty cheap to say the least. Later in the video, they'll explain why you probably should buy lower in crops, because obviously you might assume, oh, I'm never ever going to plant a freaking carrot because it's not going to give me any value when it comes to my base. But I'll show you in a second why this is kind of cap your honor. So pretty much, if you didn't know, there's a quest system, daily quest. I barely touch this mechanic because I find it a waste of my own time, but I mean realistically it is very much worth it. Now what you want to do is head on over to the gear thing. You're going to talk to the gear lady, whatever her name is, and show me daily quest. So as you see, harvest 50 strawberries and plant 100 carrots. Now this system, as you could call it, is obviously, as you know, stated, refreshes every single day. Luckily I have almost 5,000 because I've been grinding, buying everything. There's a bunch of plants that are only obtainable in seed packets. I'll show you those later in the video. I don't even have half of them. Like, did you know a peach was a crop? The only way you can obtain a peach is through the seed pack. Don't blow your money on Robux seeds. This is one of the most useless expenses ever. Like, daily quests might ask like a feasible way to get rare crops. Next, we're gonna start rapid firing these. I'm realizing how long this freaking recording is for pretty basic information. I'll probably even cut half the normal yap session out. Anyways, though, starting off with number 11, as I showed before when I was yapping about, basic crop mechanics, I was spamming water everywhere. And you might be like, oh, you're gonna waste your water bucket. I'm trying to get as many of these as I can. It don't matter, but so the basic sprinkler, pretty much I'll go over each sprinkler individually, but the basic sprinkler is basic, right? As it states, increases growth speed and fruit size, lasts for 5 minutes. Now, you can use the sprinkler method with this, but don't expect any real good progress out of it. You won't get crops either this big or mutated, because once again, all it does is it just makes them grow faster and have a bigger crop size, not actual increased mutation chances. So like gold or rainbow and things like that. That's not going to happen. The advanced sprinkler is going to be the one that it's pretty much the basic sprinkler with bigger range, and instead of affecting growth or fruit size as you see it, affects mutation chances. So as I stated before, this one is going to affect the actual chances of getting mutations on crops via like golden, rainbow. I don't know, for example, like if there's a thunderstorm or something, if you're going to have a higher chance for that crop to get struck by lightning. I don't think that's how that works, but once again though, that is just increases mutation chances. And then we have obviously the godly sprinkler. This one's more expensive, but this one is crazy value. The godly sprinkler, if you want to use the sprinkler method, which if you don't know what that is, I have plenty plenty of videos that show you how to use this method for obtaining value in anything, right? This is going to be the best one in general because it's the most obtainable when it comes to highest value. Now, then the next is going to be the master sprinkler. Now, if you don't have a master sprinkler, well, you're broke because as you see, I don't have one either. And I'm broke. It's like crazy boosts on size, mutation chances, growth speed. And on top of this, it literally can affect almost, get this, the second it's in shop, which you can know when it's in shop whenever, you know, if you have your stock notifier, handy dandy and ready. Is going to be the sprinkler glitch. Now, this is going to be what I was talking about earlier. Pretty much the way this works is super fast. I'm just going to show you. Place down a sprinkler and then leave the game. Now, you know the core function of the game that makes stuff run while you're AFK or gone. It's going to do this to the sprinklers as well, which pretty much means, you know, as it seems, it's going to run the sprinklers while you're not no longer on the game. But for some reason, it doesn't take down the time. So the sprinklers are going to continue running. So instead of 5 minutes, you could have the sprinkler going for hours. And then when you rejoin, the effects are going to like whiplash 5 hours worth all at once. And then there are event items. So like chocolate sprinklers. Then there's other things like the star callers, which are going to increase your chances for getting the celestial mutation. Most likely the event itself is going to come back, but the item itself isn't. So make sure you do buy these anytime you do have the chance. Obviously, the gear shop is pretty much the C stock, but for gears. So this is going to reset every single 5 minutes alongside that. And you can buy every gear in the game, obviously not event based, which is really helpful. Then there's going to be number 20, which is going to be the buff system. Now, one main system around this is there is going to be a way you can get multiple people in the same server, add all of them, and you get a percentage buff for more friends that you're in the same server with. Now, there are like, I don't know if they're real, but like ways to get stacking more than enough people in a server and get like hundreds of percent boosts, so like 500%. This was advertised a while ago and I feel like it might have been a scam, but could be not. So mutations are pretty much everything, right? So we're going to go over the shock mutation. The shock mutation is going to be obviously obtained via a thunderstorm. Whenever something is struck by lightning, it is going to give it that ominous, really bright glowing. You can't see because there's other mutations, but like these ones, right? This one is going to give you a 100x cell value, which is the best, next to obviously celestial and other ones. And then the next one is going to be the wet mutation. Basically, I would say when it comes to usage, this one's needed for frozen, but wet is pretty basic because wet is obviously really common with rain, and then you'll get the wet mutation on it, which I think only has a 2x cell value. And this is going to pretty much draw in any meteors to hit your plants, and then the celestial is going to give a 120x multiplier on your crop. Before that, obviously, honorable mention, the chilled mutation. So chilled is the, not frozen yet, but it's chilled. Like this is through a ice. And then once it's wet and then gets chilled, then it's going to get the frozen mutation, which chilled has a, chilled or frost has a 5x cell value. And then you're going to get frozen, which has a 10x cell value, as you know, 2 and 5. The next is going to be called, it's called like just a basic core function, 25. This is called mutation stacking. So obviously mutations value can be stacked, or the percentage that it buffs a plant cell value at. This one, the more mutations you can get on it, the better. Way I saw it. This one, gold, celestial, frozen, and shock. This one's going to be even better. And the more you can get on it, the better the plant is going to be, because this mutations are going to stack. This one's rainbow, celestial, and shock. All the big hitters. One I just saw it a second ago. Oh wait. That was rainbow, I think. Maybe not. Anyways, stack mutations, because then pretty much what this is going to allow you to do is get a basic moon melon like this. So this is just a celestial wet one. We're going to sell a celestial wet, and this one's going to sell for 33 moon melon, celestial, bloodlit, frozen, moonlit. Actually, I'm not going to sell that one. And this will apply to any crop you have. The next is going to be AFK weather events. So this is how you're going to get them. So once you use the sprinkler method to get really big crops, then you're going to AFK to get the really chunky crops with crazy mutations. Pretty much just stay in the game. Eventually, you'll have a stupid amount of mutations on these things. I'd recommend like 2 to 3 hour cycles. Come back. Pretty much everything will have some new mutation on it. That's pretty much that for mutate. And then obviously take advantage of the twilight shop. So you don't want to waste mutate. Well, these ones, if you just search lit, these are going to be bloodlit, frozen, or bloodlit and moonlit. And then you're going to come and talk to the owl and trade these in. As you see, we got a night staff. That's another event item that's going to increase your, chances of getting more moonlit mutations. Pretty much these every hour, there's a 33% chance to get a bloodlit, and then a basic chance. It's besides that, if it's not bloodlit, then it's a normal. And then you'll get bloodlit, though. The only reason you want bloodlit is the Bloodlit shop if you haven't already bought everything out of it. And the Bloodlit has a 2x, I think, trade-in value to the owl. This is going to be both at the same time, pretty much. I lost count, but I'm pretty sure that's what I'm at. These are going to be the ones you're going to trade in explicitly. So like during each individual night, so the Bloodlit or Moonlit, there's going to be these things, these two shops. They're pretty much just going to rise out of the ground right here. And these two are going to pretty much have a shop, right, themed around it. And you can get Bloodlit pets, or you can get, I think it's a cat. I don't really even know what the crap this thing does. I don't really care. I'm probably not going to use it regardless, but these are the pets and things. And then you obviously can get the new moon mango crop, which was horrible, but it's going to get buffed and probably be one of the best plants in the game, which is obviously the moon mango. And then additionally, we have the blood or moon melons from the blood moon shop. So it's a win-win if you get both. But the one thing though is usually you can guarantee getting something like moon melon in stock, and half the time the moon mango is never in stock. And then 430, if that's what I'm on, I think I miscounted. Anyways, do the daily quests as clearly shown before. Daily quests are going to be very overpowered when it comes to getting seed packs. So I could grind out the 100 carrot seeds and 50 strawberries in the last 30 minutes. So I'm actually going to do that throughout the course of this video. So I'm going to start off by planting all 100 carrots. Let me find where I even have these. I just need to do I just need to search it? Oh, I know it's like right there and I can't see it. Oh, there are stacking glitches where you can like manipulate the game. I'm going to just go till I'm at the opposite number. Sprinklers throughout this section as I plant these. You can buy okay, well, hit them with some water and they're done. Okay, so I'm going to claim all these real fast. This, and then getting carrot seeds. Lucky harvest is another thing you should take advantage of. So you can get like the ant increases your chances of the lucky harvest. That's one thing you should also note. Additionally though, once again, the daily plants, recommend this. This one, you actually have to harvest them. Strawberries are going to be like, frick, when I'm actually looking for it. I'm so good at this. And to get better value, pretty much what you're going to do is try to plant them fast before they start growing, because once again, then the hitbox starts to develop and you can't place over the hitbox, but you can place the seeds themselves really close. This will help me get 50 real fast. So as we go over the next one, feed pets. So this is going to be the pet section. This is pretty much just the basic function. This one, these are the pets I'd recommend as well. Snail pet is from the bug egg, which is really rare. This one is going to have a chance to drop seeds. Dog pet. So for 100,000 shekels for the normal egg, I believe it's 100,000. I think it's actually 50,000. This is you have like a 33% chance to get this, the cat and the bunny, I believe. This one is going to pretty much just dig up random seeds. So you could even get like peppers, cacaos, and all this stuff, I would say. The next is the giant ants. This is one I personally also use right here. Get it? This one is from bug eggs, I think. Well, the giant red ant is from bug eggs. This is like the big boy from the dragonfly from the bug eggs. The dragonfly is going to, that was a billion, dang. The dragonfly is going to randomly every like 4 to 5 minutes just straight up turn a crop. Not like there's a chance, it's just literally going to turn a crop golden randomly. As you see, our quest is done. You can come over here, claim, boom, and then come back in like 22 minutes when the 1 day cycle refreshes. Now, once again, we have an egg notifier. Take advantage of that. If you do join the Discord server, once again, this is just recommended for your basic progression in the game. Get Discord, join our Discord server, and you'll see there are common eggs. So, I know I was wrong. This is how you're going to get the dog. So it's from the common egg. Some like the uncommon are not worth it. So this one's going to be spawning very rarely, and it's going to be sold for 50 million in the egg shop. Now this one, obviously, I don't think I have one on me. Age, you can then see you can pick it up, feed it, its level, all this stuff, its name. To see its actual stats, you need to like click on it, which is a pain. This used to be like how you had to feed them. So then you can see view. See this one, all active pets gain an additional 0.2 XP per second. This is another like XP pet farm I'd recommend, is if you're trying to grind pet equips, have something that's like easy to feed so it has a small kilogram weight, and then a bunch of owls. So owls increase like XP gain on it. The other one was only like 0.2. So the next is going to be trade in. So I wouldn't recommend selling like high value. I would recommend trading these on like a Discord trading server, like mine. We have a great trading server. Once again, I'd recommend trading in there, and then obviously record trades. You can get scammed so easily. They're, I think, going to implement a trading system eventually, but until then, record your trades in OBS. And number 41 is going to be join Discord servers with notifiers. This is going to save you so much time and effort so that you can go and see, the carrots, strawberries, how many are in, weather event, thunder was earlier, and it was when I started recording this video. So I'm going to try to speed run these last ones. And then bulk harvest. Next is going to be the, like, I call it like mutation corner almost. So plant, once again, mutations or crops as close as you can. You have videos on like all the glitches, all that stuff. You check that out on how to do placement glitches, but this is going to give you better value when it comes to actually using like the sprinkler glitch. So like if I knew this before, my moon melons probably wouldn't extend this far. They'd be closer to these, and like one godly sprinkler could maybe cover all of them rather than having to use multiple or a master sprinkler to affect all of them. I would not recommend planting plants on an edge of your thing to get through. So make sure you try to put them more towards the middle, or have, you know, some understandable way to get around or navigate them, especially when you're trying to harvest them. This might seem silly, you know, so silly. It is a pain to harvest half my stuff, bro. I'm being stalked. But once again, I would just recommend that. And the next is going to be, it's called Playtime Luck. This is like, I have a whole video on this because it's really specific and stuff, but this is for like European. Make sure you check out that video. This is like, currently the moon melons have such absurd sell value, and I would recommend taking advantage of this by trying to grind these as much as you can. I know a lot of people were being genuine jerks to Jandel over like the moon mango crap and all that community. And then, you know, the forever pack, this is in the shop. Super seeds are how people get those like bright rainbow or golden plants. That's through super seeds. The whole point of the game is just enjoy it. Don't like try to stress out over stuff. Anyways though, thank you so much for watching. And if you did make it this far, then you should, I'll see you on the next one.